calling all sports fans and athletes. Have you ever longed for a place to converse about your passion for sports? Hang out, talk sports, meet athletes, and be heard. Sports Chat TV. And here's your host, Brooke Brown.
Welcome to Sports Chat TV, everybody. Welcome to our special Saturday episode. Before the game starts, we're going to talk about some NBA Finals, the playoffs, the reason why my Celtics aren't in. Anywho, talk about some NBA Finals, the playoffs, the reason why my Celtics aren't in. Anyway, talk about some NBA Finals, the playoffs, the reason why my Celtics aren't in. You can just mute that. But anyway, sorry for those out there. So anyway, as you can see, I have two awesome guests here with me tonight, and we're just going to chat a little bit about the NBA. So first up, Exavier's going to introduce himself and his familiarity with NBA and why he decided to join Sports Chat TV tonight. Welcome, Exavier.
Thank you for having me, Brooke, on the Sports Chat TV. I'm excited to be here for the first time on a special Saturday edition. I'm a sports and entertainment attorney, media personality, and Fortune 500 speaker. I have NBA athletes as clients. I'm also a huge sports nut, Chicago Bulls fan. And the reason why I joined this chat is because I previously joined you, Brooke, on a chat with the NFLPA, and it was really a great chat, and I really enjoyed the things that you had to say, and thought it would be great to participate in this new form of sports chat. So I'm excited to be a part of this today. Thanks for having me.
Sweet. Welcome aboard. Great to have you. Jody's been on my show before, earlier in the season, and so Jody's going to introduce himself as well for all of you new viewers out there.
Yeah, my name is Jody from New Orleans, big Miami Heat fan, LeBron James fan.
I'll be in New Orleans next week.
Yes, sir.
You got to show me around. I'll be there on Wednesday, buddy.
For sure.
Sweet. Yeah. So yeah, he kind of was like, yeah, Miami's going to be in the finals. And I was like, no, not against, yeah, anyway. So, like, as we were saying, I'm a bitter Celtics fan. I'm not afraid to say it. But I do have respect for OKC, and you have to be a good team to be able to get to the finals. So first, let's go over the Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals. What did you guys make of the Spurs Thunder matchup and the Celtics Heat matchup? Those were two great series, but your feeling of those series before we go on to tonight's game.
Well, first, I would like to say that I predicted at the beginning of the 2011-2012 NBA season that the Miami Heat and the Oakland City Thunder would square off in the NBA Finals. So I'm right. My predictions are right. I also predicted that Miami would beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA Finals. So I would like to just put that out there first. And the Western Conference Finals was something that people really, they weren't excited to watch because they thought with the efficiency of the Spurs that they would just run right over Oklahoma City and be done. You remember after Game 2, people actually said that San Antonio might actually go undefeated in the playoffs. Well, you see that did not happen. And I think that the young Oklahoma City's legs a little bit quicker than theirs, and they actually figured out San Antonio, and that took them out of the box. In the Eastern Conference, what happened is that we saw the maturation of LeBron James as the leader of the Miami Heat. We've heard Dwayne Wade talk about him succeeding that role as leader of the team to LeBron James, and so this had to happen for this team to step up and really fulfill its potential on why they signed those three guys in the first place. That's really what the series boiled down to. You had two teams with younger legs against teams with older legs, and now you see them facing off in the NBA Finals. Do
you agree, Jody?
Yeah, I do. I think that with the Spurs and the Thunder, I think that it was just a matter of just them figuring it out. The Thunder, and once they figured it out, then it was just that the youth just took over, and the old veterans, they just didn't have enough to contain them. Tim Duncan, he's not Tim anymore. Genova and Parker, they try to carry him as much as they could, but, just those young legs. Even though San Antonio is as deep as they are and as solid as they are, the Oklahoma City is deep as well, and with the with the Celtics in Miami. It was just Miami just taking it to them and just having that will to win. They just, I think it was just LeBron knowing that he just had so much pressure on him. And knowing that, anything that happens, even if you go out there and put up 40 a game, if they lose, it's going to be his fault, according to the, general public. So I think that, in that game 6, when you just saw him locked in, not smiling, not joking, not nothing, he was just locked in that whole game. It was over. So, I think that, like Xavier said, LeBron, he really just took over and just showed, look, this is my club. And, and then also getting Chris back healthy. Chris Bosh, that really helped him out also.
Absolutely.
So you think Bosh has been a factor? You've been having a little bit of an interesting wave with Wade's stats going down a little bit, but you think that the resurgence of Bosh being on the floor has really helped the team?
I don't think. Well, go ahead.
Well, you still have, Chalmers has been playing well. And some of the other bench players that we can't forget for the Heat that are X factors when the main three, as you call it, would need to be on the bench at the end of quarter or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, go ahead, Zay.
The table setting for this particular series has been Bosh rebounding the basketball. In Game 2, he grabbed 15, 16 rebounds, and you saw Shane Battier knocked down a boatload of threes. And so the combination of that, hey, when you can put the ball in the hoop, in addition to that, you're able to get your team second shots and then get your team the ability to set its defense. That's huge when it comes to the playoffs. And I think that having that settling force as far as respecting Bosh as a scorer and bringing Ibaka or Perkins, if he's in the game, he's playing less minutes now, away from the basket and getting him from blocking a shot of LeBron and Wade is huge in this series.
Yeah, right. I agree. And I don't think that Dwayne's lack of production has anything to do with Chris. He's just been real up and down. He hasn't really been consistent. But what Chris is bringing, he is spreading out the floor, and he does a lot of things that really aren't showing up in the stat sheet. Him just getting those loose balls. And then he's getting rebounds, but he's getting those offensive rebounds too, getting them second chance shots. In that game with the Celtics, he was knocking down those threes from the corner. Those were huge. Those are really, really big. And just imagine in this series here with the Thunder, the way Serge is, just blocking all these shots when these balls go to the hole. Imagine if Chris wasn't there and he could just camp down there the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So by Chris being on the floor, they can't just camp in it. They just can't camp there, like they're facing Joel Anthony or one of them guys, So Chris, he's been huge, and I think that his production and him being there is just helping out just tremendously. Alongside with Shane, Shane is stepping up, and he's just knocking down these shots, and it's crazy. And I remember that shot when he, hit that one up and he banked it, from far away, and even though, Kevin came down and, he hit that other three there, just Shane just being real consistent and just knocking down them shots is huge for Miami. They need everybody to win this series. It's not just going to be the big three, quote unquote. It's a total team effort, everybody, and they all providing that.
Well, okay, let's turn the table to the Thunder. I may have my fandom of other teams, but I actually really respect the young guys on the Thunder. Durant and Westbrook have just been lighting it up. And at specific times in a game, they made like this past game was exciting for the event that they almost came back again after being down in the first half, and Westbrook and Durant came up and said, we need to start making some shots. So what do you feel about the matchups over on the Thunder side for this series?
Well, I think that it's been interesting to see Scotty Brooks juggle that lineup and try to match up with Miami. It's clear that Perkins is not going to play a lot of minutes in this series. He's just too slow and is not going to be able to guard anybody on Miami's team. And so, and you saw that Harden actually didn't play a lot of minutes in the first game because Scotty Brooks was was trying to put a defensive lineup out there to frustrate LeBron and Wade. It actually worked. Harden got off in the second game, but he was a defensive liability down the stretch of that game. So Scotty Brooks is going to have to manipulate that lineup a little bit more to see what works for him on offense and defense, to see how he's going to defend Wade, how he's going to defend LeBron. Clearly, Oklahoma City is defending Wade a little bit different than Boston did. They were double teaming him at the high post and at the elbow, essentially, even before he got to the elbow, and trying to get him to stop his penetration in the lane. And I think eventually in this series, I think Dwayne Wade is going to get off and score more than 24 points if they don't double team him a little bit higher on the court. So they're going to have to. They have a lot of challenges with guarding Miami at this point.
So, which team has the better defense in this team? Are they both offensive-minded?
Well, Miami have actually one of the best defenses in the league, and Oklahoma City, their defense was not one of the best in the league. It actually got better over the course of the year, and they have this helter-skelter type of way that they play. So if you fall into that trap of jumping around, throwing cross-court passes, and trying to play that game, then they become a better defensive team. But if you slow the clock down, get the shot that you want, a high percentage shot, they're a team that's easy to break down in that sense.
What about you?
I think that Miami definitely has the better defense, and I think that for Oklahoma, I think what they need to do offensively is to drive the ball to the basket. You know, and just because, I mean, Miami's weak down low in the basket. They're weak. Their front court is real weak. You know, so I think that's really where they can have the most success, is to drive to the basket and kick it out to their shooters. You know, and I think that could really cause some problems for Miami. You know, Mario Chalmers, he can't stick with Westbrook. And also, you know, I think, you know, Russell is also faster than Dwayne too, you know, so they're always going to try to help out. And when Miami goes to help, you know, that's when Oklahoma has to make them pay. But until they do that, you know, consistently and really stick to that, you know, they could have problems because they're such a jump shooting team. And, you know, and those shots are not going to fall all the time, you know, so that's really what they have to do. I think Miami also needs to drive to the basket and try to get fouls on those big guys, get fouls on them early, and that way, you know, they can also, you know, penetrate a little more and score close to the basket. Because I mean, LeBron, he hasn't really been shooting particularly well in these first two games, you know. So a lot of his, you know, points is coming from, you know, driving, getting fouls, getting to the line, and everything like that. So I think the team that's more effective with that is going to be more successful.
All right, so now that we're back in Miami tonight, predictions for tonight's game, and how many more games will go before we see a crowned champion?
6 games. Is this series going to be over? I think Miami wins games 3 and games 5, and they take it home with game 6. I think that this game they'll have a much louder crowd. I think that they were challenged. The Miami fans were challenged by the Oklahoma City fans and that raucous crowd down there in the heartland, and they are going to bring it tonight. And I think that you're going to see a fantastic game by Dwayne Wade tonight. And I don't think that Oklahoma City is going to be able to withstand that. People are forgetting Chris Bosh led the Toronto Raptors to the 3rd best record in the Eastern Conference in 2006-2007. They won the Central Division. This guy is not a cupcake guy. This is a good team. So you're going to see them win this in six games.
Yeah, he can play. Now y'all talking about, y'all mean tomorrow, right, for game 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and series.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that the series will end in, I would like to see it end in 5, but I think 6 though. I think 6. I like Miami to close it out in 6. I don't see a game 7. I don't particularly want to see a game 7, but I think that Miami's going to take at least 2 of them at home, and then, you know, finish them off. You know, I just wish that Miami just had a better crowd, though. You know, it's like they just
South Beach, man.
See, you can't. I mean, Oklahoma City, when they play there, it's like a college game, man. Those fans are into it, you know.
Right.
And so that's why I'm going for OKC, just because they're expansion team from Seattle, so why not go for the underdog, in my opinion?
Because LeBron is on the other team.
Yeah, and I'm not particularly a fan.
Here we go with this again. The Cleveland still has their basketball team. Seattle doesn't.
Well, I had nothing to do with Cleveland. I've never been a LeBron fan, even when he was on the Cavs.
Okay.
So
you're a lifelong
it had nothing to do with
the hating him since Oak Hill. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So and I also particularly peeved how he went to Miami. I really thought it was a little overdone. The press conference and the big party. I mean, most players just say, "I'm signing here and let's get a championship." Instead of that whole heroics of the big three, it was kind of like, really?
Miami.
I mean, I know, but still, it's not like the Lakers have been doing that. It's not like the Celtics have done it.
But how you gonna put all that on LeBron though? You don't think that the whole Miami team and the public and all that stuff, they want to have that? You know what I mean? Had their big pep rally. You know what I mean?
This is the thing. Remember that whole period of time was a spectacle for the NBA as a whole.
Right.
And so that community rallied around that event. Hey, we won the sweepstakes, and I think that they did it a little bit too much because they were going to what the expectations were of other fans. Okay, this has been hyped so much. Let's respond to the hype with a big party. Turns out no one liked the party.
Right.
That it was Miami.
Alrighty. Well.
Yeah. That's another discussion.
Go OKC. Anyway, shout outs to the viewers. We had 4, but 1 just dropped. So, hello all of you currently watching live. And I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. And it's been a great show.
Yeah,
and we'll see tomorrow in game 2 or 3.
3.
3. There we go. Who wins? So,
Miami.
Have a good evening.
Have a good evening. Thanks for having us, bro. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.